The
Mhm.
confidence bit always, always excites me because that's usually what holds people
Yeah.
back. It's not just about visibility, it's not just about showing up, but it's also about making the choices,
100%.
doing the actions. It's
Mhm.
all rooted in whether or not you've established confidence in yourself to do that. And that's
Yeah,
for tiny habits. How we
absolutely.
use them to increase our
Yeah.
confidence beyond, of course, pose.
Beyond the superhero pose, right? And this is not about faking it until you make it. I want to be clear on that. This is really actual brain research, neuroscience. And most people, and this is why my organization is called Go Confidently, because you have to go. You don't have to wait till you feel confident. And in my corporate career, I saw that all the time. Women would say, "Oh, congratulations on the promotion. I wish I was as confident as you are, Julie." And I would say, "Honey, I don't have it together. I am not perfect. I don't always feel like I can do this. But what I do is I show up, and that consistent action gets you the traction. And what happens is when you're showing up, you're going to be a beginner. If you're showing up in your marketing, you're going to be a beginner, especially if you haven't done this all the time. And then the more that you do it, what is happening is you're exercising that muscle of consistency. And then what it's happening is you're learning. You're learning what not to do. And then you're also seeing the evidence.
How many times have you felt like you are on the marketing hamster wheel? Like you're showing up, creating, being visible, and then you drop the ball. So you get back on, and then you drop the ball, and you pulling your hair out because you know that that's how you get leads. That's how you grow your business. Been there, done that. And that's why we have Julie here today. She's going to tell us a little bit about herself, why this topic matters to her, and why it absolutely matters to you. Julie, welcome to the show.
Hi, my friend. Thank you so much for having me. I've been excited and looking forward to our conversation because, as someone who loves to talk about confidence, I'm the founder of Go Confidently Services. I know that confidence is a big piece when it comes to marketing, being an entrepreneur, and getting off that hamster wheel that you're talking about.
Mm.
And that's really one of the things that I love that you've, pointed us in this direction for the conversation.
Well, I want to take a moment to ask you to give our people who have joined us today for this conversation a little bit of context into
Yeah,
where do you come from? Because
sure.
as the founder of all of these amazing things, that sounds really great. But
Right?
I know that there's so much more depth to it.
Yeah, so I started my career, of course, 100 million years ago, like many of us in midlife. And I started as a teacher. I came from a family of educators. So the teaching component and being an educator is always something that is part of who I am. But I decided to go into the business world and as a career, and I climbed that corporate ladder. I worked for an educational company for many years. By the time I left, I was part of the C-suite of an educational company that was a national organization. And certainly, as I climbed that ladder, many of the roles that I had were both in business development and business operations. I ran multi-million dollar businesses. And when I went out on my own, I knew that I wanted to support women specifically. Create consistent income and confidence because many of the women that I met throughout my career, or even the ones who were friends of mine that were starting businesses, really were so lacking of the right steps and in overwhelm because even though they have great backgrounds and knowledge and expertise when it comes to actually doing your own thing. And by the way, when I launched my business, that was me as well. You feel so inept and you feel like, wait a minute, I don't even know what I'm doing and what am I supposed to be doing. And once I was able to launch my business, launch my podcast because I am a podcaster. Within the first year, I was able to sell out my coaching program, build that consistent income. But really, it came from me having to come to Jesus with myself and saying, number one, you need to have consistent action. Number two, you also need to run your business like a business. You can't just, it's not a hobby. And those are the things that really impacted me and then have helped me continue to support women. Now, fast forward 6 years, almost 7 years in the business, My husband, who's been an incredible supporter, he was the person who did the podcast production for me. And he started to get inquiries from women entrepreneurs who were working with me in the coaching and strategy and said, "Hey, can you help me with my podcast? Can you help me with my podcast?" And right away, from the moment that we launched the show, it has been incredibly successful. And what we have found is that not only are we a top podcast, but we also continue to hit some of the charts when it comes to podcasting. So we did a lot of things that we weren't sure how to do, but now that we have a system, that's why we started the production company. And the production company helps individual women be able to not only create income from their podcast, but also have the visibility that positions them as thought leaders so that they can continue to have the right strategy, the right support, but the way to lead people to you through your podcast so that you can grow your business and create an impact.
All of that came from the titles you shared at first. And this is the beauty of this conversation, is just to be able to dive deeper, because when you meet somebody on LinkedIn or if you go to Instagram or whatever, you don't actually get to know the potatoes of that person.
Yeah.
What is Shakespearean, right? What is in the name of which we call a rose by any other word would spell as sweet. Get to know the person beyond the title, because that was mind-blowing.
Well, I think that, so many of us really struggle with, who am I? What do I do? How do I tell people what I do? And that's really one of the problems that I would say we're really good at solving. And I take all of the expertise that I have, not only my corporate experience in growing multi-million dollar businesses, but also I take my coaching certification as a tiny habits coach, because habits is really one of the things that I feel have created the success that I have in the business.
And that's part of my favorite part of being a business owner is really, for everyone who's joining us here today, if you see me wiggling, it's because these guys are climbing my legs.
There you go. It's so cute.
I love them, and there are 6 of them beneath my feet today. So
listen, I love this. Is real life, right?
This is real life. This is real life.
Yeah.
If you see me wiggling, it's because they're climbing my legs.
That's right. And if you're looking for a kitten, you know where to find one.
Right, that's right. Always adopt, guys. I mean, not just kittens, but older cats too, and dogs. Any animals need a home. Now, that said, the confidence bit. The confidence bit always, always excites me, because that's usually what holds people back. It's not just about visibility. It's not just about showing up, but it's also about making the choices.
100%.
Doing the actions. It's all rooted in whether or not you've established confidence in yourself to do that. And that's where tiny habits comes into play. So
absolutely.
Use them to increase our confidence beyond, of course, the superhero pose.
Beyond the superhero pose, right? And this is not about faking it until you make it. I want to be clear on that. This is really actual brain research, neuroscience, and most people, and this is why my organization is called Go Confidently, because you have to go. You don't have to wait till you feel confident. And in my corporate career, I saw that all the time. Women would say, "Oh, congratulations on the promotion. I wish I was as confident as you are, Julie." And I would say, "Honey, I don't have it together. I am not perfect. I don't always feel like I can do this. But what I do is I show up. And that consistent action gets you the traction. And what happens is, when you're showing up, you're going to be a beginner. If you're showing up in your marketing, you're going to be a beginner, especially if you haven't done this all the time. And then the more that you do it, what is happening is you're exercising that muscle of consistency. And then what it's happening is you're learning. You're learning what to do, what not to do. And then you're also seeing the evidence. Hey, I did it. I sent that email. Oh, wait a minute. I had that conversation with somebody. I showed up. And then that evidence is what ends up creating the competency. And the competency gives you the confidence. So a lot of people feel that it's that feeling, but it's not. It really is just the repetitiveness. And this is why I say to my clients, You got to do the boring in your business. You got to do the thing that is not sexy. You got to do the thing that you don't feel like you know how to do. Because when we are in overwhelm, it's going to be much easier to one, not show up, or decide that, hey, I was working on this, but I don't know, people are not posting, people are not liking my post. So I'm going to go launch a course. And then you deviate from what you're doing, and what ends up happening is, and if you think about this, like going to the gym, if you're training to be a weightlifting champion and then all of a sudden decide you're going to go be a marathoner because the weights are too heavy, you're going to have to start from scratch, honey. And you don't go to the gym and then all of a sudden get a six pack. You have to show up. You have to practice. You have to do that boring, consistent work.
And I know that you agree with me on this. We know it's not easy.
No.
Right? Like,
never.
if it was easy, I would already have that six pack. I do not.
Mhm.
Right? Like, I get it.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Right.
And it doesn't need to be as hard as we make it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when we think, right, it's not easy, then we actually start to create a story and then we fall back into whatever beliefs we had. Maybe we go back to the failure that we had, or maybe we go to the first time that maybe we were on a podcast and we didn't do as well as we should have, right? Then our brain starts to pull all this evidence. But the reality is that it's supposed to not be easy. And you know, the best example I can give you, right? Amazon. Amazon is the place where they have an, a whole department dedicated to failure, right? And basically what they do is they're iterating, they're trying, and they're launching new things, launching, doing, and then they figure out, oh, we're not good at that. You know, the Amazon phone, does anybody have an Amazon phone? Oh, no, nobody does. Guess what? They launched it, they did it, they put it out, it didn't work. Okay, move to the next thing. And that's what happens when things are not easy and they're hard, we stop doing them rather than pushing ahead. When things are not working, rather than asking ourselves, hey, what can I do different? Or why is this not working? Then we make it mean that we're not good enough. And that's what stops us, because we get into that whole cycle of, oh, I did it. It was hard. Oh no, I could never do this. I'm not good enough. And what are people going to think I'm crazy? And then you second guess and you don't do it. And then it becomes harder to do the next time. And then you beat yourself up for not doing it. And then you're in that shoulda, woulda cycle of beating yourself up.
And if anybody wants to dive into the science behind it, like, it's literally, we're not just talking from experience, although we are. It's so much bigger than that. There's so much research behind it, and it's neurological research. It's hard
100%.
sciences about how your neurons are wiring and rewiring themselves in your brain.
That's
You
right.
hear a lot of people talk about neural pathways. You are going to rewire your brain if you start doing things that are a little bit outside of your comfort zone and training it to be like, it's okay. It's okay if I drop the ball on this interview.
Sure.
It's okay if I don't post the best post ever that went viral. It's okay.
No, it's the reps.
You need to keep doing it.
Yeah, it's the reps.
You guys can go ahead, go to Marketing Rebels, Breaking Business Barriers, go to episode 1. Look at that, and then look at how I hold myself today.
Yeah.
Because you're going to see a stark difference. I still, when I look at that first episode, I think that's beautiful.
That's right. That's right.
Growth that happens, but it didn't come without falling on my face quite a few times.
Sometimes no, absolutely. Now, you know, I'm gonna tell you something, and I don't think that you and I talked about this, but this is an experiment that I started about, I don't know, a little bit over 7 months ago, and I started it specifically to address this, right? When we show up and we do the messy and we're getting the evidence that we're doing it, we get better. Now, from the very beginning, when I launched Casa de Confidence, my main podcast, right? I had a handsome, hot husband help me with all of the tech. All I did was show up and talk into the microphone. And that's what I had to improve on, right? Fine. Well, I have a lot of women that are looking to start a podcast or that want to do something and then they don't know how to do it and they second guess and they beat themselves up. So I started a brand new podcast. I started a brand new podcast and I set up an intention that for 1 year, and we're not at the 1 year mark, but for 1 year, I was going to record a daily inspirational, motivational, educational podcast. Okay. It's called Brave Moves. And I was going to do everything. I was going to record, I was going to edit, I was going to plan it out, I was going to post it, and I was going to grow this show. And I will tell you, has it been easy? No. Have I figured out a lot of the tech? Somehow, not all. I mean, I've made the mistakes. Like I was wrestling with how to edit something. And then, of course, I ended up at the end of the episode just cursing the darn thing. And guess what? I didn't delete that. And it's on the episode. And the reason I left it there, even after people told me it was there, because I want people to see that that's imperfection. But guess what? Tomorrow I will be 200 episodes in. And it's been a fun experience. But it's been really about learning, putting the reps and showing up just like I tell my clients to do. And when you're talking neuroscience, the more that you're creating these new passageways, your neurons are firing, neurons that fire together, stay together and create these new superhighways that the new habits will travel on. But it's about showing up, staying in that zone of let's do it. And then let's get better every single day, at least 1%. Now, the episodes are short, 5 minutes. I think the most I've done is 15, but it really has given me an opportunity to become a better podcaster, to become a better coach when it comes to podcasting and showing up. And that's really what we're going for, is the consistency, not the perfection.
This is the part that people often forget, because perfect doesn't exist.
Oh, for sure.
And practice makes progress. If you don't practice,
love that.
you're not going to make the progress.
Mm-hmm.
There was a reel that went around a number of years ago now, and maybe it was less a reel, more an audio for reels that people were using. And it was all about, I think it was a song, but it was something about, I have to suck at it until I'm good at it.
Ooh,
I need to find that audio, because I think
that sounds like a good audio.
Yeah, and it was really catchy, and people would post. I remember distinctly there was a pole dancing one where somebody was sucking at pole dancing, and they'd show the before and after,
awesome.
or before and during. And there's definitely a dancing one. I think there was a rock climbing one. Like, whatever you're doing, you need to suck at it before you're good at it.
Sure.
Sucking at it.
For sure. I mean, even with my husband, right? He runs a production company, and boy, has he learned. I mean, he did sound engineering in college, and that's fine. But now he produces some stuff like the videos. And I think, whoa, how'd you do that? Did we pay someone to do that? He's like, no. But it really came to him sitting in front of the computer and learning it and doing it. And he got to practice with me. He got all that practice out of the way, but it had to happen for him to get to the level where he is. And I think that so many people forget that business is not just, I'm going to put my shingle up and make money. No, it means you're going to show up in an imperfect way. And, if we're going to be waiting for motivation to do the thing, to show up, to be consistent, motivation is going to fail you, my friend. Motivation is the thing that maybe we feel January 1st. And when life happens and life starts lifing, motivation is going to go away. So you need to create that habitual habit. And the way that we create habits is you find the behavior that it's already programmed into your brain, that's already there. And then you say, okay, well, I'm going to start slow. So for instance, I didn't become an organized business owner right away, but one of my habits is when I sit at my desk, that's what prompts me, right? Because that's automatic. I come to the office and sit at my desk. That's the prompt. Then the behavior that I take over is I'm going to look at my calendar and come up with the top 3 priorities for the day that move the needle in my business. That's everything, every day. That's the one thing that it's non-negotiable, right? And guess what? This is the part most people miss. To create that habit, my brain has to feel good about doing the thing. So I say, good job, Julie, you did it. You have your 3 priorities right here. And celebrating yourself and giving yourself credit is the thing that actually solidifies in your brain. Like, oh, I should do this tomorrow because I feel good every time I do that. And that's how habits are created. And now that's a habit for my business. So guess what happens? I show up, I look at what I have to do, I prioritize it, and then I do it again. And I make sure that those are the things that, hey, I'm not going to get up from this desk today unless I've sent the email, did the conversation, or whatever it was, right? But that's how you're going to get better at what you're doing. And maybe you're not going to be great in the first time, but you showed up, and then you can say, hey, I sent that email, or I did that reel, or I planned out my next month, or I looked at my financials for the business. Whatever it is, it's very important that you create that habitual showing up.
It's habit stacking, and it's also
Mhm.
positive reinforcement, which is
Of
all
course.
science, guys. Like it doesn't need
Mhm.
to be rocket science, but it is
It is
science.
science,
Right?
and it's so fun to see the progress. We're so conditioned to be able to compare and despair, look at what everybody else is doing, but ultimately, when you stick to your lane and you celebrate where you've been as opposed to looking ahead and saying where you're not yet, you're gonna find that you have more momentum. You have more pride in what you're doing, and that pride is what keeps you going even when life gets hard. But that's really the big secret that I think a lot of people miss.
When life gets hard or unexpected, it's those little things that make a difference.
Mhm.
It's those little things that
Yeah.
actually get you to showing up either on
Yeah.
your own podcast, on others'
Mhm.
podcasts, in a way that actually will generate the leads that you need to grow your business. I've seen
Absolutely.
so many people jump to, I need lead gen right away. I
Yeah.
need somebody get me an appointment setter or something, right? Instead of things.
Yeah, for sure. And, I see it a lot with entrepreneurs. I actually worked with a woman and, she from time to time comes back and works with me with other things, but that's really how she's been running her business. I need lead gen. And then she'll throw money at the problem, but she
Right.
never learns how to do it. And then if that's not working, then I'm going to try something new. And there's nothing wrong with iterating. There's nothing wrong with trying something new or hiring people to help you.
Yeah.
But it all comes back to she still has to have the conversations with people. And
Yeah.
if she's not ready to do that, or if she's not practicing how to have a better conversation, it doesn't matter how many leads she gets. It doesn't matter what new program she's implementing. It doesn't matter what she's trying to bring into her services.
Right.
Really, the biggest thing is, think of the baker that has a cottage industry baking, maybe not even a brick and mortar,
Yeah.
but they had to start somewhere. They had to get better at it, and they had to keep putting themselves out there. And maybe they learn, hey, every time I bake these muffins, nobody likes them. Okay, I'm going to try either a different recipe or I'll start doing something else. Focus on what is moving the needle and what is making the impact and what is working. And then give yourself credit for that. Don't look at what you didn't accomplish. Look at what you did.
You can always rely on Meatloaf for that. The artist. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Okay.
100%. Yeah, I love that. I love that.
And that's the other thing too, is like, if you're making these as oh, I have to do this or I have to do that,
Mhm.
if you're shooting all over yourself, it's
Oh,
not
you
gonna
can't.
it's
No.
not gonna work. You gotta make it fun. You gotta change your words. I get to do
I
this.
get to do
I'm
it,
gonna,
yeah.
I'm gonna make this fun. As I said, okay, I dropped the ball. I didn't do all the things I said I would do
Mhm.
today. Start singing Meatloaf. It'll make you laugh.
Yeah,
Like
I know, I know.
100%. It'll make you
Love
laugh.
that. We
Allow
have
yourself
to do that.
allow yourself.
We have, there's so many different things that we can do to hype ourselves up. And really my dad used to say, "Honey, if you don't toot your own horn, nobody else will."
No.
And even if someone is, isn't it so much better to have two voices tooting your horn and then you can be the second voice? But you gotta really be your own best cheerleader because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. You're getting that evidence, right? That says you're competent. And then you get that confidence that you've been after all along.
Yes, right back to confidence, which is one of my
Mhm.
favorite things to talk about. I
Yeah.
am actually really excited to dive into that conversation even deeper on another call, because confidence, first of all, because I'm writing a manuscript about comfortable
Ooh,
confidence.
I love
Just saying.
that.
But also because it's a part of what allows us to make those
Mhm.
mistakes, like and make choices, like having a little kitten come and join us for a call and
Yeah.
just being able to step into that CEO mindset. Got another one crawling up my leg.
Oh my God, how cute is
That
that?
said, that said, we can't dive into confidence as deeply as I think we
Yeah,
should today.
listen, I've written 2 books on confidence. Trust me, I have more to say. And that's the thing. This is the exploration that whatever you are working on, there's a deeper level, right? That you're gonna go in. And we don't always have the lesson, arrive, get perfect at it. It is just about the journey and what we're able to accomplish as we move forward.
Absolutely. And I know you just shared like about 16 million gold nuggets in just the last 20 minutes. However, I am going to ask you to think for a moment about one thing that the people who have joined us here today for this conversation can carry with them.
Mm.
An action piece, a different way of thinking, and I want them to be able to use it today, next week, in a year from now and say, Julie taught me that.
Mm.
So I'm going to let you think about that for a moment. I know it's a big ask.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah, it's a big ask. Okay.
Think about it for a moment. And in the time being, I'm going to remind everyone who has joined us for this conversation today that these conversations happen every single week. You get to be a part of it. Leave comments, ask for more, ask questions. Say, hey, I really liked this topic. What do you know about XYZ? Do you have an expert in your pocket who can talk to me about? Yes. My answer is probably yes. And I would be more than happy to invite them for this conversation. And hey, maybe you are them. Reach
Yeah.
out. Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. And with that, I'm going to leave it to you to tell the people what they need to hear.
Okay, my friends, this is something that has been incredibly helpful to me. And I learned this from a dear friend and coach. And it's the 4N, okay? Because you're going to get to the point in which you're not feeling confident at all and you are stuck and you're not moving forward. So when you're hearing yourself say, oh, I could never do that, I'm not good enough, or I messed up already, whatever it might be, right? The thought that you're having, I want you to notice it. Notice what are you saying to yourself? What are you believing about yourself? What are you expecting about the task that maybe is at hand? And then normalize the thought, oh, wait a minute, I'm telling myself that I could never do that. Oh, I'm telling myself that it's hard. Normalize what you're saying and then neutralize it. You know what? I'm a beginner at this. I'm a beginner, right? So you notice, you neutralize, you normalize, and then the last piece of it, and this is the most important thing that will help you build your confidence. You go to the next best step. Show up 1% better than you did before. And then that's how you're going to start to get that traction that gets you action, friends. And you're going to see the confidence start to be a part of your life just by the effect of you showing up.
I now have notes to make. And if I had the free hands, they would have been made already. That was beautiful. And in order to really embody that and take it to the next level, you actually have an assessment for thought leaders who are willing and able to step into that role.
Yeah. So, I think that, for so many of us, right, we think, well, I don't know where I'm not showing up, or I don't know what I need to do, or I don't know where my things are not working. You are a thought leader as a business owner. You have your area of expertise. And I don't want people to continue to be that invisible thought leader. And I heard this from a girlfriend of mine who was on my podcast. But I want you to be the person that is consistently getting clients and getting that consistent income so that you don't have a hobby business. You have an actual business that creates an impact on your life, your family's lives, and the people around you. So the assessment walks you through the different levels of where are you in your thought leadership? Are you an invisible expert that no one hires? Or are you somewhere like, okay, I've got some stuff down, but here are some cracks in my foundation? Or are you the authority already? And what is the next level for you now that you are that authority? And how can you level up your business again to move to the level that it's next for you? So that's the Thought Leadership Visibility Assessment. And it's on the website. It takes about less than 5 minutes to go through it, but it will give you some really great insight.
That's amazing. And you can find all of the links to Julie's website and this exact thought leadership assessment. It will be linked down there with stars around it and that sort of thing. You can also, if you have the ability to, is you can scan the QR code that's on the screen, depending on where you're watching this. So absolutely take that test, because no matter where you're at in your business, this is something that can be very, very helpful to you as you take a step towards your ultimate ideal reality. Right?
There you go. Love
That's
that.
the beauty of this. I'm going to be doing it. As you were describing it, Julie, I said, I think I know where I'd be at this assessment, but I'd like to look into what could my next step be, because that would be very interesting. Now with that, I want to remind you guys again that these conversations happen every single week, that we are here to support you, and that if you have something on your mind that you really want to get out into the world, please reach out, leave a comment, send a DM, send an email. All of the information is in the profile that you're viewing this on. And yeah, hey, listen, I'll catch you next time. Thank you again, Julie, for being on the show.
You're welcome.
Bye now.